pivot the conversation at this point to two topics.
Okay.
We're going to talk about churches and money.
We've already clocked 1 hour. So let's go.
And we're also going to talk about...
We have 30 minutes.
All right. Family and money.
Yes.
Family, let's start with that, in fact.
Okay.
Many people struggle in Kenya with what we call the black tax.
True.
Have you struggled with that?
No. I've been fortunate enough not to be in that situation because I think I've always been in a position where someone is always doing something. My sister is doing something. My dad is doing something. My mother is doing something. So I've never been in that situation where like I have to pay school fees for Nani. I have to pay Nini for Nani. Because I think also that would have been like a really, not unless it was a medical emergency and where everybody has to come in. I've never had to be like, because somebody always had something they're doing. Like somebody can feed themselves. It's not that they can't survive without me. So I think that's like a fortunate position to be in. So that I can't say that.
That is a
But
blessing.
I know so many people, like you're trying to get to the next step, but when you're just about to take it, you need to send money somewhere.
Yeah, in fact,
need to.
I think I've been privileged in different positions to have people talk to me.
Yeah.
And you'll find someone, for example, has a sister in high school, and it's not like the mother wants to burden them, but they are simply not in a position to help.
They can't.
And you are the one who is doing well at that point.
Yeah.
But you have your own plans.
Yes.
You are trying to invest in bonds. You are trying to get to a certain amount to invest.
Yeah.
And now you have to take a chunk of it and send it for school fees.
Yeah.
How do you advise such people?
I mean, now there is where, okay, it's unfortunate, but one person has to take one for the team. Because I think even in some families, like I think if you have like, let's say, because nowadays we don't even have like just families anymore. It's just single parenthood everywhere. But, if you're fortunate to be in a family where like just your mom can just do something small. Because we're trying to talk about like building yourself as a family so that you're in better positions. Later on, maybe after 5 or even 10 years, you're good now. But if everyone can just... No, it's
tough to advise.
It's tough because now... I don't know how I'm supposed to advise that. I've actually I was on the route of talking, and then I was like, okay, no, I don't think that would work. It won't work. Yeah, it won't work.
Right. This is how I think I'd advise someone to approach it. You need to be constantly looking for ways to empower your family before those situations arise. So, for example, you've recently gotten employed, and your sister is in high school. You can almost always anticipate that at some point, if it has not happened yet, that your parents are going to need help from you.
Yeah.
So you can, number one, try to empower them by either trying to have them get an additional source of income.
Okay.
And I think where most of us struggle in the Kenyan society is getting through to our parents. Because
that's the hardest.
That's the hardest part. Because normally information flows from them to you. Now, and I know every man gets to this point where you realize your father doesn't know any more than you do.
Yeah.
And it's usually a very beautiful point of realization.
True.
And financially speaking, most people get to that point at different levels. But once you've gotten to that level, now it is, I'd almost call it your responsibility to try and educate them to start embodying the right financial thinking to prevent them from becoming a burden on you.
Can I add something on that? Just something small before you continue. I think, and I've mentioned it in the past, and this was, I had a guest on the podcast, but she's from UK. Now the culture is slightly different. I think once you get to a certain age, like parents, not even just UK, I can even use Kenya as an example. Somalis and Indians, they always include their kids in financial discussions from a very, very early age.
Beautiful.
Very, very nice. Because now once somebody gets to a certain age, they know exactly. They're not excited about money that much because they know if I work, I can get it. If I can work, I can get it because uncle has it, dad has it, mom has it. And it's all about like just building that community and circulating like the knowledge. But in a majority of like, let's just say like the other typical Kenyan households, most people, and I'm certain about this, most people can't have that conversation about
Very
money.
tough.
Yeah, because you're asking your dad, Sasa dad, let me ask you, invest, ukona how much kwa...
Even
people don't even know what their dad owns.
Even the tone that you've taken up when you started
exactly.
that
Why? Because it's like, ndio mniue. Because now, you know, like even you have the old man who doesn't want anybody in the house to know what
Including
they
the
own.
wife.
Even the wife doesn't know. And most of the times, even how many stories have you had where the bank is just taking property from... Because nobody knew like what this old man had. But he had money. He's been working his entire life. But he hasn't shared that.
But there's a government record of unclaimed assets.
Yeah, you go.
If your parents died, maybe you should be proactive and go check it.
It's crazy because how many people... That's what I'm saying. Like that discussion is not normalized. And that's one thing I think like what I would do differently as I grow. If I get to a point where I have kids, I have to engage them in conversations about money. Because I can also imagine like if I have a mini me who's already understanding investments at 10 years old. By the time they get to 12, they're teaching me probably things that I don't know because they are now tuned in with the new tech. There's because let's not get it twisted. We'll be the old people who now we are trying to catch up with technology. Things are coming up. They're like, okay, please explain to me. So I would want to be like their helper so that I teach them new ways or things that I know. And they'd also be comfortable enough to be like, yo, dad, you know, there's this new tech. If you buy this, it's like maybe an implant that's being put in someone's skin and changes. I'm like, not at hizo ni mashetani. No, sit, relax. Understand new tech that's being introduced to you. Talk to your kid. But understand, bounce it off each other. Empower them early with the information that you know that can be helpful to them. Let them advance and they will come back and teach you.
True. So the takeaway from that for the audience is it is going to be very difficult for you to get through to your parent at first. But try.
You have to.
If you're going to overcome that black tax, you have to try. But then there's this perspective that is brought in by the church or even religion in general, where you're told that it is your responsibility to take care of your family. You know, disregarding all your plans, all your...
your dreams and ambitions.
It is your responsibility. What's your take on that?
Because now you see, when it comes to religion, and even for me, I'll just say personally, I've seen so many people like make bad decisions, especially because their faith clouds the logic. What I would say it's logical. Because now when we touch on religion and you have a pastor who's telling you like not at that even tithe percentage, I don't know what's the tithe percentage.
10%.
Oh my God, 10% is a lot. 10%. Because if you're getting 100, that's 10 G's.
That's 10 G's.
If you're making $1 million, that's 100 G's. Okay, now you see
let me tell you something interesting that I've ever thought. At some point I wondered, instead of giving, say, the 100 G's, how right would it be according to the church to take that 100 G's and put it in, say, bonds, and then be sending them the interest?
Why not?
Or the 10% of the interest.
Oh, yeah.
But Sasa, someone might listen to us and just say, you're just trying to scheme God.
No. But that's the thing. You see, also now it gets a bit sensitive because now we also have to respect other people's cultures and values. Because it's not just about religion. It's also about culture as well. Religion and culture, they're just somewhere in between there. Because now that's when you're told, like, you know, if you're old, your elder tells you, like, you're supposed to take care of, you're the one who has a job. So your cousins and in you have to send school fees for them. It's your duty. Because wanaume in our family, that's what we do. My friend, that's culture slap first of all already. And then now you add the element, because someone who's super cultural like that, they're also super religious. So the 10% kwanza pia, it's gone. My friend, your plans are it's very And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some things I wouldn't even know what to advise people on, because my advice would mean you have to step on people's toes.
You have to.
Because that's the only advice I'll tell you. Like, you'll have to go against the grain. Because I know that's what they believe. But if you sit down and just be logical about it, I'm not going to see a pastor drive a Range Rover and my dad is on a Toyota 110. I can see it.
Or even Mitsubishi.
Or even on foot. By the okay, let's not even ignore, because like a majority of people are just walking. That's why I'm saying, like, the car example was just those ones of like, even if we have a car, but why is this guy driving a Range Rover with the money we've worked hard for? Because he'll say like, mimi mtumishi wa Mungu. So it's hard for me to understand that, but also understand when these people are in the congregation, do you see the crowds of people who are there? I would respect them, because that's what they believe and everything. But if I was to advise them, I would say, like, I just think otherwise. Just take some time out, kidogo. And
I want us to zoom out. I was talking about that in my latest TikTok video.
Yeah.
How the wealthier societies are less religious.
Yeah.
So Kenya, I wish I could show you that graph.
Yeah.
So on religiosity, Kenya or Africa in general is somewhere at the top here. Then we have a curve. As it goes like this is how wealthy the societies are.
Yeah.
So Africa is almost at the bottom of wealth, but at the highest
With
of
the
religiosity.
Yeah.
And a case study that I was discussing is Spain. It was on Citizen the other day. I came across it on social media. And people are absconding church in Spain. And they're trying to explain that and say, oh, the people really didn't feel comfortable being asked for money in church, and so they started not going to church. But the truth is, these people have actually attained a certain level of wealth that removes that proclivity to depend on church.
Yeah.
And I was comparing two images. The first image is the distribution of churches in Kibera.
A lot.
And then the distribution of churches in Lavington, which is just on the other side.
Just on the other side, yeah.
And I was asking myself, what is the correlation between religion and poverty?
And who do you think prays the hardest between those people?
Bro.
Yeah. I can hear the crusade from Kibera when I'm here.
You can.
When they start, there are those ones who go with the drums and everything. You can. You will hear them. So I think they pray a lot. So you can't tell me God is not listening to their prayers and then he's listening to these other people's prayers. And they pray probably 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's just one of those things that
oh my goodness.
I think, and that's what I'm saying, like, it's just maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because like we are breaking out of a certain generation where we start questioning like a lot of things.
But here's what I found out. Religion doesn't actually cause poverty, but it sustains it.
Oh.
It sustains it.
Okay.
And on the plus side, maybe on the positive side, what I found was religion tends to lessen the effects of poverty on people because it redirects their attention.
But also, now here's the thing, because even if we were to break it down, because now we'll have to use examples. Somalis pray how many times in a day? 3.
I wouldn't know.
3.
Okay.
They have the morning 4 a.m. If you live near a mosque, I think it's 4. Okay, don't misquote me. I stand to be corrected, of course. But early in the morning, if you're near a mosque, you'll always hear that nini. And then there is one they do in the afternoon. And I think there's another one like in the evening. Which even Christians, we don't pray that much, by the way. We don't pray that much. But when it comes to business and finances and talking about money around the family,
They're better off.
Indians the same way. So where is it like as for Christianity where mpaka there is kesha, there is, I don't know. Christianity actually at times, and the unfortunate part now, and we have these pastors who are always getting caught up in situations. You look at them, their finances are super high, but their congregation is like I
don't even know what to say.
I haven't seen any Muslim elder driving like a convoy of ninis. I haven't seen any Indian, religious nini doing the, that's what I'm saying. Like Christianity, it gets to a point where like, and now when we go to the Bible, we see Jesus was like in a donkey, casual. There was gold during those days. He wasn't wearing any gold or anything. So I mean, I don't know. It gets to a point where like you can easily get lost.
I think it's important that we mention
Yeah.
that there are actually pastors who maybe even give more than they get in their service. Let's just mention that and put it out of the way. So there are.
Okay.
So that we don't, speak in a tunnel way.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, we have to ask ourselves, do we really need more churches?
No, at this point, Rwanda actually said now. Oh, actually, you heard what Rwanda Kagame did. Like for you to start practicing, like just the whole pastor thing, having a big congregation, you need to be certified so that they know your intention is not money.
There was a time I was passing by a certain, rural road, kwa kijiji to somewhere, and I saw a church. Sort of, it is operating from something that is supposed to be a shop. So you can imagine how small the space is. Then they've put a very big speaker outside.
Yeah.
And I peeped inside and I saw there was maybe 4 or 5 people. And I asked myself, wouldn't it be better for this guy to just go to an existing church?
Yeah, actually.
Become an associate?
Yeah.
If pastoring is really his calling, to pastor more people, what is this obsession with opening your own church?
Yeah.
Pastors, what?
Are you telling me it's not money? I mean, I think it's money. The intention is money.
It has to be.
It has to be. It's the only thing that makes sense.
You cannot convince us otherwise.
Yeah. It's the same way we see people like, the Kenyan thing. You've opened an M-Pesa shop here. Your neighbor says like, hey, there's traffic for people here. Ata mimi M-Pesa shop. Another one, the same thing. So I think that's what's happening also with churches. And now it gets to a point where it dilutes like what like Christianity is supposed to be, especially like in the country, because now people know they can get away with tax exemptions, with so many other different things. If
Even
I'm receiving money, first of all, if we get to money, a lot of churches are doing money laundering.
True.
That's just for starters. If you didn't know, that's actually a thing. And I think at times people are so innocent because you do truly believe. But now there's somebody who's messing like with finances, diluting the religion as we're speaking, all those things. Like, how comes in other religions we don't see all these two crazy characters? People like, people getting healed from being a cripple and walking. I haven't seen it in Islam. I haven't seen it in Hindu. I haven't seen it in...
I'm a Christian.
It only happens from blind, to turn somebody from being blind to see. And then they ask you like, what ini? And they say Fanta, and they've never seen how Fanta looks like. Hey, let me tell you something. Christianity, it's just something that, and that's what I'm saying. Right. Like, you would step in so many toes because people truly believe. Like the Mackenzie guy who's being charged now, he told people to go to the wilderness, starve themselves to death. There's actually a lady who was working for KQ. She left her job, packed, went with a kid, and they went to the wilderness.
I think we need to tell people what you believe in is really critical.
Very.
Don't just believe in anything.
Very.
Don't just take beliefs from people.
Yeah.
Take your time at least. Otherwise, it's going to mess you up big time.
It's very tricky, and it's just one of those things at times, like, because when you see people doing that, you're like, have they been possessed? And then again, I'm like, no. These are just normal people. But I think also now you tie it with and you tie it with poverty. People can easily be manipulated. Because now you have people who like, and I've even seen people in general, and it's not even like middle class people who would say, I'm praying to God that one day anipatie like millions and nini, and this person never works hard. They're the laziest person, even just like a lot of people who you would hear, like just in general, they don't wake up to attempt to do something. Because also like we have like now, I don't know, people have just given up. They don't want to try, but they're always praying. They're saying like, me, I know God will bless me one day. But you want those blessings as you're working. You have to meet him halfway. True. You have to meet him halfway. You can't just say like you're chilling and you want God to bless you. How? He'll bless you and then you won't even know what to do with the blessings that he's sending your way. So you have to understand, put in work. But religion is so sensitive.
It's very sensitive.
Once you start thinking about things, you're like...
I know some people are going to watch me in this.
And be like, wewe, unaona? There's a friend of mine. Maybe if he sees this podcast, he said he doesn't believe in religion anymore. But I don't blame him. It's because of like... He sends like articles and all these to funny incidents that are happening. And then I tell him like, okay, now I understand. You've been traumatized. So many different things that are happening and they don't make any sense. But let people just believe what they believe. But otherwise, as we call him, like in the WhatsApp group, we call him devil worshipper. Because I'm like, you just can't say you don't believe in anything. Pick something at least. There has to be like a higher being that created like everything that's in existence. Maybe, and I don't want to say like there has to be, because there are other people also don't believe as well. So also them, I have to respect them as well. We also have people who believe in animals.
Let me tell you,
I also have to respect that as well.
I had a friend from Germany.
Yeah.
And I was, when she came to Kenya, I was sort of taking her to different places and whatnot. And at some point, the conversation on religion came up. And she was so intrigued to know that I actually think there's a supreme being that cares enough for me on a blue planet in the middle of a galaxy.
Oh my God.
In the middle of the supernova, in the middle of the observable. Have you seen how big that is?
Yeah.
And she was so shocked. So what do you believe in?
Yeah.
She said she believes in the scientific whatever. And I tried hard to convince her. And in the end, she told me, oh, okay.
Yeah, because she's like, where is this even going?
She's grown up never, ever having believed in...
And that's the craziest part, because I remember, like even last year, I had the privilege to go to Germany as well. Like when we were doing like a Euro trip thing. I don't remember seeing a church anyway.
No church.
And we went to different parts of Germany. Now to think of it, even people who are there with, like they can attest, we couldn't see like any. Wow. Like you go to like they're looking for, because like you can look for things to do like maybe, but you won't see like, so there's always, you'll see a cross somewhere. In the map, you wouldn't see anything like that. Because Africans maybe would say like, okay, we've had fun, how we are as Africans. Like, see Sunday we can do like maybe, even somewhere you can go and just say like a prayer hivi, and then go back to your fun. I didn't see church anyway.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Especially actually considering like we did Euro trip, I can't remember seeing, did I see a church in? No, and even some places were outskirts and we were doing tours. Where did we see church where we went? Was it in Italy? Italy or Monaco?
There must be some old...
It was in Monaco, and it was the big cathedrals. Now even like now you see the Saint whatever, Saint Nini. I remember because that's the one place that now we're taking like even on tour, and we were shown like the big churches and shown like the popes. And then they just gave us like a speech about like all those religious leaders. Yeah, kind of. And it was just now that it's deep, because now you're seeing the old structures now. And you're being told like apostle who. But the other places, I think, and even how the people move there, you just see it. They don't really believe.
There's an interesting thought I had the other day where I realized when we think of the future, we think there's not going to be religion.
Yeah.
But it's actually going to be worse.
Might be diluted more than, especially for Christians.
It is going to be crazy.
Christians, we don't have a line. We don't have a line that's drawn like, don't cross here. Somebody wakes up in the morning, creates something.
And they can say anything they want.
Yeah. Interpret the Bible how they want. So, I've seen people, have you seen those clips that at times circulate? Like there's a church, I think everyone was coming with a soda, and then the pastor opens the soda and then they wash you with the soda to bless you.
Bro.
You see. But I'm just saying, it sounds ridiculous, but he has a congregation. He has a congregation. Have you seen churches where people like come on Sunday? You know, this is crazy because these clips circulate. There's this pastor who's playing soccer in the church. And, you know, it's like, because it's funny, but now the other pastors now who are possessed with the devil, when they're coming to try and, they're playing football by the front up of the church, the pastors who are coming and trying to get the ball now, like they are overpowered with some spirit or something, and then they just fall down. And then now the main pastor is just going with the ball until he scores.
Oh, what drama is that?
I'm telling you, but the church is packed with people. The church has people.
I saw one where
Yeah.
the pastor entered with a Prado to the pulpit.
Inside the church.
Inside the church.
Now you see.
And the church itself is a structure made from iron sheets. Hey.
He can bomb the whole church just from his entrance. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This conversation is on religion and money.
Religion and money. It still affects how people think. It might affect long-term plans. And like you said, it will sustain poverty instead of you growing.
So the takeaway is for you to separate the two.
Yeah.
Religion is going to have very little, I think, with your financial freedom.
100% right.
You are not going to get rich because you are a Christian. Because there are rich Muslims, there are rich atheists. So you have to understand that there are actually laws that pertain to making money, creating value, getting paid for it. They are not really tied to whatever faith you ascribe to.
True.
And sure, you can say, you know, God is going to bless you in that avenue, but you have to be pursuing that avenue actively and with a certain understanding. There is favor, there is all that, but where are you going to get that favor if you're not doing anything? You have to.
And I think now we're in a position, we're in a place where it's confusing because the economy is bad, we don't have jobs in the country, but and how many people do you just know in general who like are confused because they're like, they studied, they expected work to be there, they can't get the jobs and they've given up. There are so many people who are there. And especially I feel bad for like just, especially I think because I'm a millennial, I feel bad for Gen Z because it's so confusing because somebody studies and most of them are always certain, like if I finish school, I have good grades, and I finish campus, I'm supposed to have a good paying job. And then even like, let's say you've studied journalism. And you know, most of media houses are just hiring celebrities nowadays.
True.
Nani has gone viral. Put them in that position. You studied Daystars, how many years?
4 years.
You did masters. You've done what? You can't even just get a small nini. And I think that the best thing about social media, it's expanded us. It's given us a platform and opportunity of like, just go and be great. Do something with yourself. Because if you're waiting for the job market to rescue you, it might never work in your favor. So, I mean, of course, for those ones who are lucky enough to be in those positions, we can't discredit them. But we all know, like, you know, social media has also made us, given us great opportunities.
I think a point I want to add on that is when you're successful, you have to recognize that there is an aspect of luck to your success. And that understanding will give you the wisdom to know that when you see someone struggling, it is not entirely their fault. It is not because they didn't do something or are not doing something sometimes. And you as well, it gives you the humility to know that whatever position, whatever level you're living at, it is also not fully ascribed to what you've done in the past. It is not because of your degree, it is not because of your umejituma sana. Sometimes there's that aspect, not sometimes, there's always that aspect of luck that you need to always recognize and acknowledge.